morning, everyone. Today's reading is going to be a third-party reading. What's going on between the three of you? You have got three choices. You've got the Lovers for pile number 1. You have got the Six of Cups for pile number 2. And you have got the King of Cups for pile number 3. So if you want to take your choice, and then we'll get going. Okay, I'm just going to start reading. I don't know if you actually saw me throwing my iPad around because I actually came off its hook. I'm trying to make sure you've got a good view, but as I'm away from home, which I tend to be a lot at the moment, I'm just trying to make sure you can see it. There you go. Okay, so this is what I've got a feeling of by looking at these cards as they're churning out. There's a feeling here that there's, which is, I suppose, maybe quite obvious. I don't know. It could be different. Something I've not thought about. You've got the Three of Fire here with a man looking out. You've got the Ten of Fire here, which can sometimes feel a little bit like you are laden in some way. And then you've got the Daughter of Air, which is communication. This is the situation between the pair of you. So I'm getting a feeling there's lots of watching, lots of waiting. It feels very heavy. And there's the Daughter of Air, to me, is small amounts of communication. So it feels like there's texting, there's glances, looks, small conversations. This doesn't feel like something that you're engrossed in, as in you're spending all your time with this person. And it could be, but I don't feel it. And they've got an X somewhere else. It feels like you are probably on the periphery, and it's like flirting and communication, maybe more, but there's lots of pulling back, waiting, wondering, I guess, with this pile here at the top. With regards to how their thoughts and their feelings and their actions towards their other partner, not you, has got a feeling of somebody, and they've got the Knight of Wands here in the centre with what's between the pair of you. So to me, the person that you're talking about, whether it's male or female, feels like they're kingpin. It feels like they're like the sun, and that everybody revolves around them in some way, because they're coming across in their relationship as the Emperor and Justice, but with a card which feels like they're shut out. It feels like their boss. It feels like, to me, it feels quite sad. It feels like somebody who goes to work and is doing their job, and oh, do you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of reading. Let me get my hands out of the way. It reminds me of reading an article when I was probably in my 20s. It was before I had kids, and it was in like Cosmopolitan or something, and it had pictures of people's bodies, males and female bodies with no clothes on. I don't know if it was like close-ups or whether I've just imagined that. I don't know if it was, actually. I think I have imagined that. And there was a man there saying that he didn't view his, I don't know what part of his private parts he was talking about, so I'm just going to say private parts there. I don't really want to say, but he just said they were just perfunctory in some way. He didn't view them as sexual because he'd had kids and he felt like he'd done his job. This almost feels like that. It feels like somebody who's done their job and is slightly retracted, very retracted from their relationship. It feels like somebody who could be older, because you've got here next to the Emperor and Justice cards, which to me is like somebody like a big boss in a relationship that's his lady or the gentleman or whoever they have got, their other half, could be the other half to them. They could be very similar. And this is another thing that fascinates me, because you think everybody has the same amount of emotion as you and puts that same amount of emotion into relationships. Some people just don't. Some people don't need to have an emotional connection in a relationship. That is a strange thing to say, but I think that is true to some extent. You know, people get their kicks from different things, don't they? And that could be security. It could be just, marriage. With the Justice card in the centre there and the Emperor card, there was something I was listening to yesterday. There's lots of thoughts in this one, where it was like famous people. Could have been Oscar Wilde even. I love Oscar Wilde. His books make me cry. And then when I listen to his quotes, which I do when I get change in the morning, they make me laugh. So what more can you want? Where he said that men get married because they get tired and women get married because there's something else still optimistic about something. I don't know if that was him, but there was some quote like that. So this is what it... Oh my God. Oh my God, don't leave me. I'm still here. Honest to God, I'm all over the place with regards to my thoughts and feelings with this pile, and then the table gets going. Shut out of a relationship that he or she feels is they've still got a part to play and they still need to play it because that's the way they've been brought up, is the more succinct version of that. And I'm looking at you over here, and it feels to me like there could be a work connection. There's something where you're both slightly retracted, because I can feel it up here. Then you've got this almost defensive card looking that way towards a relationship. You've got a work card where you're actually either working on the relationship or you share commitments in work, or you're involved in work in some way. And the Knight of Swords, which is quite a cool card as well, facing the other way. So to me, it feels like you're pulled between lots of different places of waiting, wondering, and trying to be really cool and collected about it, but making sure that you keep your own boundaries. And you've got here the Nine of Pentacles. To me, is another boundary. The garden is the boundary. You know, it's you thinking that I'm independent, you know, which you probably are. I'm independent. I'm in control. This is fine. And the Knight of Wands here between the pair of you. To me feels like this person who is in the centre of you both is in the centre of you both. And it feels to me as if you're innocent but detached, as you don't want to get hurt. You're interested, you want to know what's going on. But this person feels like a strong personality to me. It feels like somebody who works really hard, or the Emperor card and the Justice card, who from an early age wanting to get married and wanted to do well in work. And that is part of it. And that's really difficult to identify with for some people, including myself. It has what I would say from the Emperor card there and the Justice card. There could be Capricorn, Libra there. I was going to say Capricorn, but the Libra could be there because this person could be quite charming, but quite cool underneath. And I don't mean cool as in there's no heart there. It's just a case that sometimes people in life have drives that they don't really like emotional mushy. It's got to be concrete. It's got to be there. It's got to be something that's going to support them when they get older, or when the emotions have fizzled out a little bit. That's what they're doing first. That's what it feels like. So, trying to keep my arms out the way of this. The situation between the pair of you feels like a mixture of watching, waiting, wanting, stalemate. Then a feeling of almost retracting into yourselves and thinking, oh my God, this feels quite heavy. I don't know if I can work with it. It feels like something I don't want to get involved in. But the communication between you is good. There's something that lights each other's fire. With the air there, I'm thinking of the King of Wands down here. It's like fanning a fire. You know, when you're making your own fire. And I always think in this house that I'm in now, can you change? I always have to do the fire. And I haven't got bellows, and I always wish I did. And I always think when I'm actually blowing into the fire, not doing that, just that when you're with, if you're full of air, yourself and your personality, and you're with somebody who's fiery, it really does start crackling. And that could be something between the pair of you. Your person could be quite fiery. You could have quite a few air planets, and it stimulates them, and it stimulates you both ways. It's like two kids in a playground that have just found each other, and you're all sort of excited and you want to play the next game, and you're sort of, and the fire person's off trying to include everybody else, and you're like, just play with me because this is fun. But with regards to the other person in the relationship that isn't you, with the Emperor card and the Justice, and these two very sort of self-contained, self-controlled, I'm pushed out of a situation. This person feels to me, as I said earlier with that Cosmopolitan story, it feels like they've played their job. They're doing their job, and they've slightly shut off, and there's not a lot of emotion in it. I'm not saying that because that's just the third party, because, I mean, I'll show you the cards for them. You've got the Emperor and the Empress, which are quite traditional together. It's like an established marriage. and where somebody is the big boss. And the fact that your person's coming across as the King of Wands here makes me think that male or female, it's them. Then you've got cards of what feels like they're shut out of a situation and the Four of Pentacles. So to me, it feels like a relationship that's ended. And this person's got fire in them, I guess, somewhere a lot in there, that they want to keep life moving. So they've obviously thrown themselves into everything else. And it feels like something which is probably you has caught their eye in the process. Doesn't feel like somebody who's looking out for an extracurricular activity. It feels like it's come towards them and caught their eye. And then you're here thinking, you know the situation. This to me, under the Daughter of Air, with these defensive feelings, more air here and more defense, and keeping your head down with this very independent feeling, makes me think that you're very astute. You know what's going on. You're tiptoeing into it. You don't want to get involved because you know where these sort of relationships end up going 90% of the time, but you're still drawn towards this person. The advice up here for you is the Ace of Pentacles. This Ace of Pentacles is slightly different. You'd want to say, you know, keep going with it, which is part of it. It's like keep pressing. But to me, the advice here is keep pressing. And a lot of the time you find this, and you do find this a lot in relationships, especially, and it's not just the male, but it's the more masculine person in a relationship doesn't seem quite as aware. And that has got nothing to do with male or female. It's just the one who just functions and doesn't think or feel or take in as much. And they don't seem as aware in love situations as the female energy does. And so what happens in that process, which I think is a huge part, I've been thinking about this a lot recently, is a huge part of the times that we are going through at the moment. That female is then forced, female energy is then forced to look inward. And through love relationships, it's almost like, well, if you're not doing it through your dreams, you could be doing both of this. You're not doing it through your dreams. You're not meditating. Here's somebody that you're going to fancy. Then you're going to have to, you can't quite get to them. You're going to have to start looking inward. It's not me saying that. This is what I've been thinking lately. In some way, we've got to a certain, I suppose, evolutionary period. I don't really know if I do know what I'm talking about here. I think I know what I'm talking about. We never really know, do we? Where we're supposed to be taking in and being more. And it's almost a time to wake up where we've been like, I don't know, newts and pigs, and now we're humans. But we're still functioning basic levels, a lot of us, including me. And so this is like, right, look, let's look inward. Who are you? What do you want? What can you pull out of this? What perceptions can you draw? Now you know what love feels like. You know, what you're going to do for it. You're going to just feel the desire. You're going to sort of, you know, make yourself more aware. So to me, this all with the Ace of Pentacles here, I'll show you the card going inward towards the heart. It's like this person is there because you're very independent to teach you to look inward. More so. You could be very busy as well because you possibly could know this person from work, and when you're going to work, you're doing your 9 to 5. I always think 5 days a week is too much. I've always thought that. I always think 4 is enough. You should have a day off to meditate. You should have a day off to walk in nature. Not that I do that, I go for a run, but you should have days where you can look inwards. Then it's like family and the rest of it comes at the weekend. I might actually write a letter to my politician. I won't. But to start summing this up, you've got a feeling here of a relationship where there is, it feels heavy to the pet of you. You can both feel it. There's communication that just kicks off. There's distance here. Your person is probably quite controlling, maybe even quite controlled even in their marriage. And they've basically shut off, whether it's a marriage or relationship. It feels quite too conventional to me. The Emperor and the Justice card to me feels like they've bound themselves. You almost expect the devil to be there. They've bound themselves because of something they've said to themselves when they were young, or they've seen their parents doing that doesn't always work. And I have seen this type of feeling before with very successful parents where the child wants to emulate them in some way, even when the marriage wasn't particularly good. And one person was there to support the other, which is fine, but it was a bad relationship. This is what this feels like to me. It feels like it's And I don't know whether it's always been that way and it's just personality types, or whether they've just basically, as I said with the cosmopolitan thing, they've served their purpose in some way and slightly cut off, which is natural in life as well. You know, we all go through processes in relationships. But with regards to you, it feels like you are naturally independent anyway. You're very clever, you can see the situation, you're just moving around, almost wondering what's going to happen next. It feels like interest to me. But there's like a pull between the pair of you that feels quite physical with the Knight of Wands between here. And then you've got cards of you being very independent. So part of the process of this relationship in front of you is for you to have that time where you're separate from this person, to question yourself on who you are, where do you want to be, and what can this person teach you about yourself. Because if this is true on this side, there's parts of this is true on this side, there's a possibility that if you're in a relationship with this person, it may end up on this side. It may end up over here with you, because that, you've got to ask yourself as well, is that person's personality type? Are they quite unemotional anyway? I don't know. Or is it just a case that this relationship that they're in is it's difficult. It's really difficult, this feeling here, because that's the easy answer, isn't it? That you're probably going to get both sides of the stories here with me. This is why I don't think I'm very good at a third party reading, because I'd like to see both sides. Let's just say this man, this lady has got children, and when you've got kids, you don't really have time for each other. So it could be just a process that they're going through, and they may actually come out the other side. It's not the same when you meet each other and you spend Friday night rolling around on the bed, eating marshmallows and laughing and joking, and do you know what I mean? It's more a case of get your sleep while you can, feed, work, back home, kids, feed, you know, that type of thing. So that could be part of it, but that is perfunctory to me, that relationship. So you will know better than I do. This one here with regards to you is clever in a good way. You can see it, you can feel it, but you've not given your heart yet, but you're looking inward. You're looking inward to see, what have you got to give? What would you like, you know, can you give without expecting anything back, which is always the biggest question. And this person is attractive. You know, the Knight of Wands, male or female, this person's got. And I always think with the Wands energy, they're full of life. You know, you see people, I used to do reflexology when you get, sorry, there's so many stories today. I used to do reflexology when I was younger, which is absolutely fascinating. And if there's anything that really gets you thinking, if part of your body can be reflecting your feet, which it definitely is, what else is reflected inside you? Why aren't the planets reflected inside? Of course they are. Of course they are. But you can't argue that, can you, with somebody who's scientific? Because it makes no sense. I don't understand it, but I just know it is. This person, as I was saying, is full of life. And you can see by the way that this type of person moves and the way that they talk, and that's why they're so sexual, because they're full of life. And as I was saying, the reflexology, you do somebody's feet who's not got that, and it's folded and they're floppy and they've lost their energy. And that could be part and parcel of, you know, just a period that you're living in. It doesn't have to be that personality. And you can see it in people's faces as well. You know, people that have more fire inside them and more earth as well tend to have very tight, very taut faces and bodies. And the water people are a little bit more gentle, a little bit more flowing, probably less watery people tend to have less robust health. And I think that is reflected. Sometimes they can see that they hold more water and that everything functions a little bit slower, a little bit smoother, but there's like pros and cons of both sides. Your person feels like they're full of energy, and that is probably where their sexuality, the pull may be coming from, I guess. And your advice is the Ace of Pentacles. It's to keep yourself on your back heel here, and to look inward, which is not what you want to hear. Let's just put a few extra cards out with regards to their feelings towards you rather than what's going on between you. To me, it feels like they are cool. They can feel it, they know it, they're clever, and it feels to me as if they are trying to keep in the Emperor energy and not come towards you, although I think that they are physically pulled towards you, but they are to me it feels like somebody that doesn't really reach outside their comfort zone with regards to relationships, but does with regards to pushing themselves in the outside world, if that makes sense, with regards to work, with regards to, and I'm going to say conquering things, which I think I've said in other readings, because that Emperor card to me, the Emperor card somehow seems to overpower the whole pack. At every reading I do, I'm like, oh my gosh, the Emperor's there. And you keep going back to every, and there's other cards, the Justice card is there just as equal, but to me that with the Emperor is a traditional relationship. Okay, your person to me feels their relationship is got the Tower and the Five of Pentacles twice. You've had that twice towards their partner that they're with now. That relationship to me doesn't feel like it's functioning at all. The relationship towards you is still quite cool, as in maybe in the early stages, with somebody who's quite sexual or got quite a lot of physical pizzazz in some way. That's a stupid word. Your person's not giving out emotionally to either, is probably what I'm going to say here. And these are only cards and it won't apply to anybody, but your person feels as if they are slightly very interested in where they're going in life, feels driven. And your advice here is your drive is probably got to be more internal. This is like you're going to get a lot out of this relationship by watching and knowing what you want, knowing what you don't want, and seeing the person. My sister says this to me. She says, you've got to see a person realistically. As in, when I see somebody, when I meet people, I'm like, it's all fantastic imagination and this could be possible, this could be possible. And I suppose it's quite optimistic in some ways. She tells me she does the opposite. For instance, if she sees somebody she fancies, she'll think horrible things about them to make sure that she doesn't fancy them. I'm the complete opposite. This is like saying, you've got to be my sister. You've got to see the person on the loo, that type of feeling, when you don't fancy them. See them as mundane because that's how they see through their eyes. This is an interesting pile, and I suppose it's not a particularly positive pile, which I'm sorry for, but if you read cards, you can see the cards I'm putting out, and if for me to say anything different would be telling porcupines, which the only thing is, this is a group reading, so if this really doesn't apply to you, and you all know that, please go try another one. But to me, this, has got I will take them away and I'll show you. Their feelings towards their partner, the Tower and the Five of Pentacles. To me, it feels like it's ended because you've got the Five of Pentacles already down here with regards to their partner. You've got traditionally controlling, so they're in it for probably, they feel they ought to be in it rather than their heart's in it. And then you've got, once again, slightly cut off. So that's where that one goes. So then I turn to yours, and I've got here what feels like cool, controlled and slightly retracted. You've got either your head down working or that you're trying to get further with this relationship. And all I'm getting from that is independence, more coolness, more being astute, more being playing with it mentally. And then you've got feelings from them of not really moving forward towards you as yet. You've got here another confident person, which is them, and there's distance, there's watching, there's waiting. And your advice here is to go inward, because this person is in your life to let you know what you've got to give, what you need back, not just what you've got to give, but what can you give without asking back for back. You could still love somebody, because you always see with people like this that they actually need love more than anybody, but not sacrificing yourself. When people are rude to you, and which we all get, and the hardest thing to do is just be nice back, but it's those people that are rude and foul that need it more than anybody. Probably had hard lives, but that doesn't excuse the fact that, this person needs to, you can't, these people, it takes you to be in a strong position to not let anybody take advantage of you when they're in a bad place, if that makes sense. And that's where you need to be. You need to find your strength, which I think from your cards you have already, to make sure that if you're going to play, that you don't get burnt. This person doesn't feel like a player. They feel like they're too busy in their own world. Okay, pile number 1. Sorry, that's not really positive. I would love to put a positive spin on that, but I just reading what I can see. I'm sorry. Bye. Okay, hi there, pile number 2. This is very different from pile number 1. I'm just going to start going through what I feel like is a situation between the pair of you, what's going on with the other partner and what's going on with you, and possibly some advice at the end. You've got the World card, the 5 of Air and the 8 of Earth at the top. So the situation to me feels like you possibly could have spent some time together, and there's a feeling here, it's not in the cards, it's just me. It could have ended and one of you feels like the other one got one up in some way with the 5 of Air here and the World card here. So I don't know whether with the 8 of Earth here, you may work together, you may have spent time together, you may possibly, I'm just thinking with this situation, it could be at the stage where you're wondering whether the person fancies you as much as you fancy them with the 5 of Air, and that's sort of like tiptoeing to see how much to reveal. Because it feels, this whole pile feels like kids. It feels like youth. It feels like excitement between you two. And you may just be sort of eyeing each other up to see that it's reciprocated in some way. Or it possibly could have, with the 8 of Earth and the World card here, a background to it that's been going on quite a while. And the 5 of Air would be, nobody's going to win this one. You may be thinking that may be the situation between the pair of you. So that could often speak of somebody you may have spent a lot of time with, worked with, had your eye on, get on really well with, know that they're in a third party. So that has 2 different feelings to it. The second one feels more to me. It made me feel funny as I was saying that, so I don't know if that feels right. Now, with regards to their relationship with their partner or their husband or their wife, you've got feelings, possibly kids involved with the Page of Cups. You've got feelings here of somebody who's quite steady and likes to work towards their family. You've got feelings of a steady household. It feels sweet. It feels nice. It feels as if the relationship hums along nicely. I'm being really honest here because the first pile was hard and I just said it as it was. And I always feel sorry, but because I don't want, when I listen to tarot readings and they're really like, ugh, I'm like, oh no, afterwards. Because it's like talking to somebody, isn't it? And then you just carry on that mood with you for a bit. But I'm going to be very honest, this isn't a bad pile at all, it's a nice pile. But this has got a feeling whose home life hums along and it's nice and it's fine and they got on well and they work together well and they're sort of like putting things away for the future and it's sweet and there may be children involved and they may live in a nice little house. There's a feeling here that there's something cut off from the relationship. That your person's feelings towards the person that they're with aren't quite where they should be. They're just getting carried down the river in something that's fine. To me, that's what it feels like. Because you have got this card here, which you can actually see that card. Some of them you can't. Sorry, I'm away from home. And the view always isn't as good. Then you've got you two with the Wheel of Fortune and the Strength. So that feels like, when you meet somebody later on in life and it feels like you get your second wind. Because the Wheel of Fortune is like planning and wanting to do things and feeling that you're lucky to have found the person. The Strength card here feels like there's a strong pull between the pair of you and you're almost trying to temper it in some way so you don't get carried away. And you may work together again. There's another work card here. So, that could just be 3 people in a relationship as well with here. But there's the possibility here, because I felt it up here, that you run alongside each other in some way. You both may do the same thing, or you both may it feels like you spend time together rather than just like winking at each other when you pass a shop. I mean, that's possible, but this, to me, because of the Eight of Earth here, it feels like it slows it down and gives it time and, you know, concretes it a bit here. So there's a possibility that you work well together. There's respect, there's attraction, there's a feel-good factor in your relationship. And you want to play one off against the other, really. You know, sometimes, you would. But to me, this is different. This feels like excitement anew. This feels like it runs fine. Everything is okay in their house. With their partner or whatever, you know, wherever this partner is fine. But it's not the... It's like it's almost automated. This feels like... the relationship with you feels more like it gives them you've got the Queen of Wands under your pack. They've got the Four of Pentacles, so it's like it gives it a kick. And to me, there's all like fire in this here. The Wheel of Fortune is Jupiter, the Strength card is Leo, and then the Queen of Wands here. So that's attraction, and that's fizz in a relationship or in a situation where you make each other feel alive. And you've got the Fool card here in the centre. What's going on between the pair? This person feels like they're ready for a new beginning with the Fool card here. It's almost like when you've teached yourself to the edge of the cliff and you've got your bag ready and you're ready to jump. Your advice here is the Princess of Cups. Your advice is to be open in a very sweet, non-pushy, innocent way. Just be yourself. Just be kind. And this is like, don't gameplay, because the Princess of Cups is too sweet. The Princess of Cups is just you being yourself, not over dramatic, over emotional, not giving out too much, not wanting to take anything. It's just you being you. And to be honest, you don't have to do anything else with this pile here. Your person's very, very drawn to you. There's a feeling here that it feels like camaraderie with the Three of Pentacles here, but it feels like your person could have fire in them in some way, or just is very... It feels like a fighter, you know, somebody that's not a fighter is the wrong word. Somebody that's stimulated by air or fire themselves, you know, some like conversations like, oh, that's exciting, we could do this together, or it feels like this person wants to run with the world, which they see as you, rather than... This isn't a case of anything wrong here whatsoever in their relationship. It is honestly fine. It's just that they're cut off from it, I guess, here. I'm actually recording. I am just checking. Right, let's have a look at more of their feelings. Let's do these cards. To me, it feels like regards to their partner, as in there's nothing actually wrong with that person. You know, in that they probably fell in love with them. They probably love them still, but they're not in love with them anymore with these type of cards here. It feels sweet. It feels respectful. This person doesn't want to hurt their partner. It's just that there's big energy on your side here because you've got major arcana. You've got a lot of fire here. And these feeling cards are, it's like, how can I say it, blocked or lost or accepted, I think is the word I want to say here. Their feelings are accepted, that they are what they are. Maybe not what they used to be. Perhaps their relationship is based on less on passion and more on companionship, or it feels sweet and it feels that it works. It feels that everybody does their job. There's respect there. Maybe that's why the Strength card is over here, because it feels like this person is trying very hard, because that wouldn't make them feel good if they hurt this person. Oh my gosh. I only supposed to get 2 cards out. There's a feeling here that it has crossed this person's mind to move on from this situation to a more concrete situation with you, I think, because you've got the Ten of Pentacles, you've got the Death card and the Eight of Cups. You know, and always remember that these, because there's quite drastic cards, you know, that to me is very much this person in their mind has mentally moved away from their relationship and is in a relationship with you in their mind. But remember, these are group readings, so it may not always apply, and that's quite strong. But the Fool card, next to the Ten of Pentacles, next to the Death, next to the Eight of Cups, that to me is family and endings and walking away, and the Fool card is a new beginning. So I have to read it like that. I feel like I'm apologising for the cards, these naughty cards. But I just read them as I see them, and I don't want people to make drastic decisions from a group reading. So that is just what I'm feeling here, that your person, as sweet and as lovely as their relationship is, and as sweet and lovely as their partner is, they've moved away mentally from them. They've almost put their thought processes into your camp and where they're going to go with you, because there's the Wheel of Fortune, the Strength card, and that's moving forward, and that's happiness and excitement and moving with life inside you and optimism and having ideas and thoughts which they've almost got to a point that they've lost in their past relationship, which is always quite sad, because that's what, you know, that is life, is part of the process. There's not, you know, so much to do with, I'm just looking at the other person now because they got weaker cards. That life just takes us down paths, and you know, we lose our passion for everything and anything, and we have to reboot it in some ways. But this person seems to have rebooted it in your boot camp. Yeah, that is, to me, is this person is wholeheartedly into you. To me, that's what it feels like, and they want a new beginning. And your advice here is to do absolutely nothing about it apart from to be open. I'm not saying that this is going to happen. I'm just saying that's where their energy is. It's with you. And you've got the Princess of Cups here, is just be yourself, just be open, just be kind, smile, be generous natured with this person and be sweet. Because to me, it feels like nobody in this triangle, if this is a triangle, has got ill intentions towards anybody else. It feels like a situation that's happened, and all you can be is open and honest as much as possible when it gets to that point, I suppose. And I'm not one to lecture here at all. I'm not one to lecture. It is to when it goes over that boundary where your morals feel like they are, you know, pushed in a direction you don't want to be, so supposed to call it quits or own up. That's all I don't know. I'm making that up on the spot. That's what I'm feeling. So the Princess of Cups here is saying, for the moment, just be yourself, just be kind, just be sweet, because I wonder whether, I don't know how far it's got. Okay, I'm going to leave that there. Good luck with that one, because it just feels like there's three nice people in a triangle there. And it feels like nobody wants to hurt anybody else. Your person is invested in your relationship with you, even though I wonder how far it's got and whether you're still running alongside each other and you haven't crossed that, I have to confess, boundary yet. Okay, I'm going to leave that there. Well, good luck with that. Yeah, bye. Okay, pile number 3. This is the feelings for the other partner, and all 3 piles, and you probably saw me shuffle them, although it would have been speeded up. I've had this card in the same position for all 3 piles, I think. So that is how their feelings for their other partner, and that's their feelings for you, or what's going on in the situation and part of the process of it. There's a strange feeling here, so if it may not be your pile, so just if this next few sentences don't feel like they are for you, it might be worth checking out a different one here. There's a feeling here that your partner might be in the process of leaving their other partner already. There's a sort of a divorce feeling here, or anger between the other partners, the two that the person you're involved with and their other partner. There's an anger between them, or upset, or in the process of moving out, or they may even know that they are attracted to somebody else already, because it feels like angsty. It feels there could even be children involved. There's upset in between the pair of them. There's upset which could be something to do that could be viewed as being sneaky. So, or just leaving a home environment, or leaving a situation, leaving children, and the emotions are cutting off in some way here. It almost feels like you're almost outside of this, watching and waiting and wondering what's happening next. As in, you're controlled and you're calm and you're slightly removed from what I feel that your person's going through at the moment. They're coming out as a Father of Water. That to me feels like quite emotional. It feels like they've been forced to be quite steady with regards to their emotions. There feels like there's a lot of emotions that it makes me feel as well that they're almost like dammed up in some way, as they can't, if they let it loose. It feels like a situation in this one. If they let the emotions loose, it would explode. While you're, as I said, there's a feeling here of being, you're upset, but you're controlling it very well. You've almost removed yourself from the situation, because you've got the Hangman here, which is trying to understand and is watching. And you've got here what feels like a bit of a mess with regards to their relationship with their partner. Because you've got the Three of Swords here and the Seven of Swords. And that to me is heartache. It's like affair or sneaking, and it's been found out. Doesn't have to be an affair with you. It could be just already in the middle of a divorce with children involved here. And both partners are somehow, at least one of them has, and I think it's your person, has cut off. Is holding on to the emotions that I feel that they're coming across as here. Not very good English. You feel as if you're trying to understand, but there's a feeling here like seen it before, done it before. I'm just going to retract and let them work it out. There's a feeling here of you being quite sassy in some way, and I don't know what's making me feel that. I don't know if it's this lady's face here, because she looks like, yeah, yeah. And this reminds me very much of, I'm not going to say it actually, I'm not going to say it. It's not insulting to anybody, but sometimes when arguments are kicked off, when somebody which I've done lots of times in my life, and my sister does it as well. When people are quite arsey anyway, so you rub them up the wrong way to watch them ping. That's what that feels like. And it's almost like it's that feeling of, you're retracted because it's all, there's like, no, it's not the wrong words there I'm going to choose. It's all out on the surface at last, that type of feeling. And as I was saying, when somebody's a bit sort of, they're nipping and they're doing this, and so you rub them up until they actually say what they're thinking. It's that type of feeling here, and it feels to me as if it's all out in the open. And you're like, well, at least it's been dealt with, but I'm going to sit back because it's between them. So this to me is what it feels like here. So this could be wrong. The Wheel of Fortune, it feels to me, is the centre between both piles. Is that now that things have started moving, there's a chance to know where you already sit in this situation. It's like getting these cards and throwing them up into the air, and where they land will show you the next story to me. And I wonder whether this is part of what's going on at this moment. It feels like a volcanic rumbling underneath the surface. That's what feels like is going on between them and their partner, which feels harder, and you. It's causing you anxiety, because I feel like you want to talk or express and speak to them here, but what you're doing is keeping your head down in some way. This is quite specific. There's also a feeling here that this may have happened before, which could be they've either been in a divorce before, or they've been in a situation that's split before, or that this could even be as simple as, you know, when, let's just say they're in a relationship with somebody, you two get together and you talk about, you know, what's going to happen here, and there's tears and it's all out in the open. That could be just that part of it. Yes, no, I'm, you know, it's you that I want, that type of conversation, and then it carries on. So that could be something that's repeated, because there is a feeling here of repeated or reflection or something that's happened before, and conversations that have been had that you've almost tried to bring something out into the out into the open, as I've said earlier, even though it causes anxiety, and you're like, I'm staying here until you give me some more type of feeling. And this person is almost put into a position where they've got to do something. And you're like, okay, I'm waiting. Because you've got the Hangman here and Sassy Daughter of Earth in the centre here. You've got an emotional person here, whether they're male or female, who's trying to organise the other relationship that is painful for them to do it. Even though they feel that they've cut off from the person, it still feels like, it's not like this pile number 2. This feels like a situation that's actually uncomfortable to go to. Actually physically move away from this relationship is difficult. Not through, through emotions that are invested, but more a case of the actual process of it. And your person coming across as this may not actually like the dirty parts of life, where you've got to have a bit of pain to get out of something, or have a bit of pain to get through something. But your person feels with the Wheel of Fortune that they're ready to move. Your advice here in this is the 9 of Pentacles, is to keep yourself to yourself. To keep, if you have poked the bear in some way, is that's enough. That's enough for now. It does feel like, you know, time to look after yourself and keep yourself out of it, and let this person deal with it. And let this person come towards you. So I don't know if that feels right. Let me just have a look at feelings, more on the feelings involved, both sides. Okay, this person feels, to me, it feels like they've lost control of you in some way. It does feel like an ultimatum pile. You may have had a conversation, or something may have happened between the pair of you, or you may have given the impression that there's only so much you're going to take. You're not going to be somebody's bit on the side or whatever. That's what it feels like, because the Emperor, the 9 of Swords, is almost like this person coming across as the father of water and you're the daughter. They've lost their power in some way, because you've and these cards here are probably speaking your piece and being quite sensible about it. This is what you're going to get from me. And then this person over here, with regards to feelings towards their other partner, which feels quite difficult anyway with these cards. It feels like something's going on. There may even be children involved, is trying to look ahead and think of things practically. So that could possibly be, you know, if they're financially involved with the partner, how could they possibly, with the Knight of Pentacles and the Page, provide? You know, how would they move out of this? There's lots of thoughts and feelings. This feels turbulent, this reading. And I don't know if it's just mental turbulence, where this person is throwing around all these thoughts and feelings in their head when they're attracted to somebody, that something's already established somewhere else. And this person's thinking their life could go this way, so this would happen. How can I keep control? I feel like I can't keep that person, because they won't have me unless I move away from this relationship. And it could all be in their head. And this person may be thinking, well, I've got commitments with this relationship. I've got a mortgage. I've got, you know, with these cards here, I've got kids. And how would that work out? It feels a lot of mental activity going on here on where they want to move with the Wheel of Fortune next. And it's saying for you to hold your own, hold your peace, and just say what you know, you can give what you can give. That doesn't make you feel as if you're diminishing yourself in some way. That's not the right word, but you know, you feel as if you've given too much away. Because your person, I think, initially felt that they hold all the ropes in this relationship, but with the Daughter of Earth here, I think they're finding out, because the Emperor comes across with the 9 of Swords over you with regards to their feelings. It feels like they've realised that you are quite sassy, that you do actually hold, what is the term? Not hold the ropes. hold a lot of the key. What is it? It's a really normal term, isn't it? Like hold a lot, where you basically, you've got the power. I got the power. And a bit of a stalemate going on, I guess, here. What I guess is going on here is this person wants his cake and to eat it, not in a bad way, but in a way that they don't like to have upset. And they like you, they're drawn towards you, they want you, you're like very sort of solid. This is what you're getting until until we know that it's going to move down a track that makes us both happy. And they're like, oh my God, it's going to cause me pain to get from there to there. And I think that their relationship at the moment is probably painful anyway. They could be, as I said earlier, in the process of moving anyway. It just is difficult. So advice for this is to be stubborn, be kind, and be independent. Advice for your person who I think needs it more than you, because it feels like your strong character here, is to be practical, not emotional, know where they want to be in 10 years' time and start moving towards it in a very practical way that provides for all. They get what they want out of life. Their partner, if they've emotionally moved away from them, which is very possible here, is financially supported in some way, because there's lots of finances here, and that they're straight with you. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Why does he look so nice? Every time I see that, I have a thing about polo necks. I wear them all day, every day. And every time I see that, I can't oh, make you handsome. Right, I'm going to leave that there, pile number 3. Thank you very much for spending some time with me. Those piles are all hard, I feel, but I think when you're looking at third party, it's not really, somebody's going to get hurt in there anyway. So it's not always happy, clappy skippy. I'm making that up. So it is what it is, I suppose. And I just, I wish you all well and nobody gets hurt, really. Bye.